Hello, my name is Tina Parrish. This is Tina Parrish Coaching, and this class is called Functional Movement. And the theme for functional movement for this class is going to be cardio. And I'm going to call this more of like an intermediate and advanced class. And the way this class will be done is how I do most classes. The first half is definitely lengthening for the muscles and making sure that the joints are moving to the fullest range possible, as we all have different bodies and they all respond differently from knees to shoulders. So it's a great way to prime the body and get the body ready for the second half of the class, which is more of like a strength training where we bring on weights and we do sets and circuits and some cardio as well. And the way that I'm going to do this differently is that I don't want to forget about that length training process. And so some of the moves in the second half will actually be done in the chair. So that's going to be a little bit different than on the previous video that you might view on cardio functional movement. That is also an intermediate and advanced. So let's go ahead and get started. So do like to start with these 5 points. Do like to start with posture. It makes a difference throughout the entire class when you're aware of it. Let's get centered. Let's get that kind of Tai Chi. You know, the energy is coming up through the floor, through your socks and shoes, whatever you're wearing. I want you to feel comfortable about your stance, and it's different for everybody, but it's a little bit wider in the shoulder. And then I want you to bend your knees and just make sure they're coming over the second and third toe. And this is a movement that we need to do throughout the day, whether it's sitting or even coming downstairs. We just want to give a little shout out to that movement and watch for any kind of pronation that might be happening where the knees are coming together for support. Now come up to the pelvis area and see if you're able to shift the pelvis. Start with a squeeze. That's a great way to just start to understand pelvic movement and how just to isolate and move your pelvis on its own. By just doing a squeeze, and then you open up the hip flexors. It's such an easy, basic strengthening and stretching and pelvic awareness move. Just a couple of those. Isolating, and even if you're comfortable, you can start to go into a little bit of a cat-cow. Now that causes a compression as the muscles in the lumbar and the water tilts forward. If you think of your pelvis as a bucket of water, you know, when you squeeze, the water comes out the back a little bit, and then you release, and then you attempt to spill a little bit in the front. It's just good observation to be able to know, you know, how your pelvis affects your total posture, and are you able to move it on its own. So then we come up to the shoulders. The simplest way is to just roll the shoulders back, open your palms to fix your posture. Such an easy way. And then we're going to sit the head over the shoulders as if you were kind of, you know, taking an object and balancing on it on top. So what muscles would you release when you're doing this, like your jaw? And how might you tilt your head if you were just trying to find how you balance your head on top of your body? Breathe in, breathe out. So I want to go to the shoulders and I want to go to the hips first a little bit. So feeling that alignment, what's it like for you when you push out to range, when you feel your blades kind of pull apart without rounding out the center of your back? And just to begin to notice, you know, is there any core contracting and tightening in there? And then as you push the hands back and you squeeze the blades together. It's a push-pull. And actually you can even do this with a little bit slight bent knee. And without losing your center. So that is a basic everyday functional move. It's like you often need to push, you often need to pull, and just know that those 5 points, your full posture is involved in there when you're doing this. And we're going to go into a little Tai Chi move. We're going to move some energy. So you're just going to put some one hand out up front, palm open, and we're going to bring the other arm out. And it's an exchange of energy, and it takes the time for the body to understand muscle memory as you're drawing the energy towards you and you're pushing some energy away. Right, working with the shoulders, working the posture still. And then we turn the hands. And you draw the energy towards you and you push the energy away. And take your time. Because it does take a while, not just physically, but also mentally, Just stop, pause, and be asking yourself, do I want this right here and now? And if I don't want this, whatever's coming your way, stress, anxiety, worry, see it. Work with it. Be aware of it and be conscious in that moment. And you have choices. And keep working with it. What is it right now that's not working for you that we'd like to push away? What is it that you'd like to draw more towards you? And it's a slow speed. It takes slow work to acknowledge it and see it. Excellent. So let's go to the hips a little bit more. Let's step apart and feel comfortable with that. Excellent. Breathe in and out. And then I want us to get into those warrior stances. So if you orientate from the pelvis, so say you're going to shift to a side, notice how your foot just naturally wants to turn out. And then it's optional to bend a little bit towards it and get the knee of the second and third toe. And then as you shift your pelvis back towards center, notice how the foot wants to go. And then opposite sides. We're orientating from the pelvis. So if you were to shift to this side, what would it do with your foot? It would just naturally turn it out. Bend your knee, come over your second and third toe. Excellent. We're just working with natural origins of movement coming from the pelvis. Again, I'm going to swing and shift over to one side. And just notice how you direct the hip. It's going to direct the knee. It's going to direct the foot. Triangle 2. You don't want to bend the knee. And just gentle, gentle stretches here. And our hips, they work differently. We might feel stiffness. We might feel some resistance. Excellent. Come forward and then start to use the chair if you want. And stretching out the lumbar. Opening up the hips. Breathe in and out. You know, we can bring the shoulders back in here. We can feel that protraction, retraction again. So on the chair, can you feel those blades come together as if you're squeezing a lemon? And can you push out and feel that protraction? So we can add that in a really light push-up. Even just a little scapula push-up. Without necessarily rounding out the back, but again, just rounding out the shoulders. And I'm gonna play with the knees a little bit. Then side to side, use the chair as much as you need to. Direct the knee of the second and third toe, and you might feel your feet shift a little bit. And go to the depth as to which you feel comfortable, right? So the challenge with lengthening is that you also must use strengthening because something can't stretch without something else contracting. And if you want for a little bonus here, if you feel like working with the hips again, seeing if you can rotate and find that warrior leg again, but it's not necessary. That could be a lot of pressure on that knee. It just opens up the hips a little bit more. So I'm bending, feet face forward, and then I'm orientating from the hips. So what if I swing my hip out and just pivot? And just open up a little bit more. Breathe in and out and take your time bringing your feet forward. Let's see if we can do a forward fold here and then get ourselves into downward dog a little bit more. Tabletop. See if you can go lower. Start noticing the hands, how they're feeling. And then walk yourself back when you're ready. We start really stretching out. We're starting to get to the shoulders here, getting to the back, getting to the legs. Breathe in, breathe out. And then when you're ready, spinal waves. I don't want to rush you too quickly. But how you're feeling about getting in the cat-cow and moving the pelvis like we were doing vertically. And there's even movement with the shoulder. If you want to do some scapula push-ups, you want to feel the blades come together and then push out. Make it yours. Notice what you're feeling and when you're feeling it. There's upward facing dog. There's no pressure to go there. But notice what you're feeling when you're feeling it. Spinal, shoulders, back of legs. And then I want to get into that staggered stance, also called pyramid. It's just great for balance. So go ahead and put one foot forward, the other foot back. And just feel the deepening of that stretch or the leg that you chose to put forward. Start to feel it in the back there. You can still spinal wave a bit. You can still feel the shoulders in this position. And then step back and stretch out a little bit more in downward dog. And we're gonna get ready to go to the other side. Great, from downward dog. Now I'm gonna put the other foot forward and work on that staggered stance, that balance, and how deep that stretch feels. And going through spinal waves and some shoulder movement. And go ahead and step back. Okay, one more. I want to go into warrior 3, or we can call it a single leg deadlift, depending on your mood. So step forward with one foot, and then you're going to lift the other foot. I mean, what a lengthening process that is for the leg that you're on. You definitely be feeling that stretch. So you can feel some scapula movement. Can the blades come together? And then can they come apart without rounding out the center of your back? Just extending your blades. Squeezing together. Rounding out. You get to know, you're knowing your body really well. I definitely would not throw this on somebody who's just started teaching, studying with me, however you want to call it. This is definitely a lot of awareness going on from balance to what your strength, stretching, and then going into the blades and trying to feel that as well. It's a lot. Switching opposite side, going on to that single leg. Making sure that you're okay with that before you add other awareness in the shoulders. Excellent. Breathe in, breathe out. And come all the way up. And let's give the neck just a little bit of treatment too. It's just such a special area. So going into those 5 points, we're just going to try and be thinking about them the whole way, whether we're doing cardio, whether we're doing strengthening, whether we're doing lengthening, turning the head side to side. Noticing any tightness in the shoulder, readjustment of the pelvis. What can you let go and release? Could it be a quick speed? Could it be a quick mind? Could it be a feeling? Go ahead and look forward, and then we'll tilt the head side to side. Just noticing that tightness, and if you can hold it and offer a breath of release. And just awareness as you kind of align with what's working for me, what's not working for me right now. And then the head goes down and then it goes up just a few times. Nice stretch on the upper trapezius. Compression, how does that affect the 5 points in your body? And then go into a manual massage of the base. And just bring some release or some relief. To the masseter jaw muscles. Just draw down, release. To the neck muscles, and even cross over because we start to use that sort of right and left hemisphere of the brain. Brings that relaxation. A little bit more relaxed or a little bit more willing. Good. Ming Mung stimulation. Just get the spine here. Just wrap the fingers around the thumb. Tap all the way around. And then go for the big muscles on the outside of the hands, the pinkies, and tap. Awakening and releasing. Get into it. You know, and we'll go right to the throat and we'll go to an Om. Since this is sort of like a yang ignite, we want to go right to the throat and Om. And into a tap. Nice tap here in the shoulder. You can just kind of bump that. And 5 points, just take a moment here. Settle in. And get ready for the second half. We'll start a little bit earlier. Grab your water, whatever you need. Inhale, exhale. Have your weights nearby. I'm going to go much heavier on the weights than I am on the band. And then also I'll be introducing the set today where we're in the chair where you can do some optimal flexion and give your lower body a break. If the sets tend to be too much for knees or what have you. We'll find a set where we can do in the chair. It's not taking away. Remember, it's like working on the flexion a little bit and then challenging some of the upper body move on that. All right, into the first set, which we know is really kind of like a reminder set. Where we go wide. We work on that wide stance. It's good for the hips, good for the back. Into that glute squeeze. We find the opportunities throughout this workout where you can be aware of a glute squeeze, even if we're in an asymmetrical position. That means 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Where can we bring that muscle in? Because if we bring that muscle in more there, we're stretching right in here. And we know these sets progress. They just get a little bit tad harder each time. So with that glute squeeze, see if you can add, go ahead, grab again. So you're gonna start to add like a lengthening, deep ranging move, right? If this isn't lengthening or deep range, I don't know what is. The wide stance, the glute squeeze, the ranging. And there's some nice things that we can tag on here. We can tag on balance. Can you still feel the glutes? Can you still feel the glutes working? And are you able to bring in some slow mobility? Transfer to other side. Wide stance, glute squeeze in an asymmetrical move, lengthening range of motion. Excellent. All right, we completely change it up with just a pure 20-second cardio move, right? Because it's cardio is kind of the theme. So let's have a cardio move in place. I'm going to start with just a nice high step and just get the heart rate up. So what's easy about this recording is if you're not crazy about the cardio, you can actually pull back and do a repeat on the set we just did. But if you're anxious about the cardio, you really need the more cardio, you can always get into the cardio a little bit sooner. Getting the heart rate up, definitely get into yang, but we're going to fall back on the yin on my cue. So we're just going to go break, right, on my cue and find your 5 points and settle into your posture. 3, 2, 1. And just feel what that energy brings, right? Especially nice heart health. Lots of oxygen. Oxygen is, it's key. We need it for all 11 systems. Grab your water if you need it. We've got that first set down. Okay, I'm going to start with an asymmetrical move. I'm going to start with side lunge. Since in the previous video, we didn't get that side lunge, I'm going to kind of pick up from there. So we'll break down the lower body. We add the upper. We put the two together, and then we end up with a cardio move. So you can see how it's going to get harder and what parts you might like or might want to modify for yourself. So let's try the side lunge. If this is a hard move for you, you come over to the chair and you take off some body weight and you work on the side lunge side to side. But this is more of a strengthening the second half, so I encourage you to find where you're good on that strength, right? And even hold it a bit. And come up. I can still feel the glutes. I still want you to feel the glutes. Like, you don't want to miss that. What that first set kind of taught us. And with the wider stance, it's definitely more of your gluteus minimus and gluteus medius, some of the smaller butt muscles there. I'm going easy on this. I'm trying to find the points where I think that you have some strength and not trying to get you to push it too far from there. Great. Okay, so now we're going to add the weights. So we'll try it without the lunge, and then we'll add the lunge both together. So I'm going to go with a wide leg row. I'm just going to bring that up. So you're feeling the blades squeeze together. Of course, you're always looking up for your lumbar. You see curve, it starts to hurt, so you want to tilt it forward. And this is definitely a functional move. This is one way of lifting something up that's rather heavy. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to go wide on that with a slight bend. I'm going to keep the objects as close as possible and use the center of my back, my middle trapezius, and my biceps to lift that thing up. Taking a ton of precaution with your back. But your back, your core, is also needed in order for this action to happen. Okay, great. So now we turn into the total body move. Well, you want to add the side lunge in that rowing motion. So just notice kind of what's changed for you. Obviously, it comes onto that one leg and that one knee, and you're noticing the back. I'm going to transfer over to the other side. Just being super careful. Excellent. And let's go ahead and bring that down. And then let's go into the cardio here. So the cardio move is going to be step in and step out. We'll do that for 20 seconds. And go. If it doesn't work for you to be bending forward, you can always come up a bit more. We want to get to those 5 points on the break. Just feel that yang, that sense of centeredness, that posture. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feel those deep breaths come through the body. It's a key of cardio, of exercise. It's bringing the more oxygen through the body. So you want to feel that moment, that blessing. Inhale, exhale. Excellent. Okay, so now I'll start going through the sets where we're going to add the chair at some component at some point within the sets. You don't have to take the chair, but again, I'm putting it in as an option to see, can you get a little more flexion? Maybe be a little nicer on the knees for the moment. Okay, so without the chair, go into a wider stance. And we're going to come forward in a Romanian deadlift. And back up. There's the glute squeeze. There's the wide stance. We haven't lost sight of that. So if you want this to be harder, add the upper body. I'm coming up next with that. You can just beat me to it and add the upper body. But that's what's coming next on that. You can try it with one weight. You can try it with no weights. You don't have to try it at all. Okay, going for the total body move. Right? All right, a little bit harder. Total body moves are really going to be like, am I moving the hips? Am I moving the knees? Am I moving the elbows? Am I moving the shoulders? You know, this one you just have your hips and your shoulders, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. Because the more joints, especially those joints I mentioned that you move, the more you're going to get to the muscles, and that becomes a total body move. One more here. Excellent. Okay, so now here's a chance. You can either be like, I'm going right into cardio. I'm here for the cardio. And so then I want you to doing a shuffle back for 20, and then you'll do another one. If you're like, I want to see what she's going to do in the chair. It's time to get that chair and to go through that set. And I'll go for the lower body first, and then I'll pick up the upper, and I'll do the total body movement from the chair. So we have the Romanian deadlift. Going wider, see if you get a little bit more flexion. It's a back strengthener, lumbar. Okay, I'm going to add the weights or a weight. Almost done there. Some of you, maybe you're possibly doing the cardio instead of this movement, right? So just so you can clearly see, you're like, all right, that's the opportunity to do 2 cardios, or come down in the chair and just feel some of those moves a little bit differently. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up and out of the chair. What's going to be nice about this, like it's not nice coming up and out of the chair, but what's nice is only asking to do it once every time that we come down in it. All right, so now we're into a cardio or meeting people in that second cardio, which is a shuffle back. Just a quick little pulse on the glutes. And here's also a chance, if you liked it in the chair, that you can be continuing on in that chair. Almost there, and then we're going to go into that slower yin, that feeling the 5 points of the posture. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. For that muscle memory, maybe that's probably the best muscle memory they can give you, is an improvement on posture, right? All right, catch your breath, and we go into another set. Staggered stance, right? This is gonna be nice because when you get in the chair, you get that chance to kind of come really low and open up that psoas, because we know it's much harder when you're doing it on land. Staggered stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. At the very least, I want you in this position, just working on your balance and feeling your glute. Super important. And then you start to work on where's the mobility. Do I feel it in the front? Do I need to be careful of it in the back? Where are the actual, weight training moves? Now there's a single leg split squat in there. So you're giving it all to that front leg. And then there's the actual lunge, right? Where you're going to distribute the weight as much as you can between both legs. And they both actively work to bring it back up. You can take a Tai Chi flow through and find where the strength is for you. Okay, grab the weights. So we start working on the upper body here. Breathe in, breathe out, and let's do a curl. Turn into that total body move if you're ready for that. If you're like, that's a little too much, then you keep it just at the biceps. Can you still feel the glutes? When do you feel the glutes? Excellent. Okay, you can stay with this if you like it. I'm going right into cardio because I am trying to sneak in a little bit more of that. So I'm going to do cardio before we go to the other side and do another cardio later. Breathe in, breathe out. So I'm going to step forward, I'm going to step back for the cardio. If you want to challenge balance and perception, then you go in circles. You go around and you change direction. If you want to challenge that quick footing, always good. Forward and back. Fire it up, get that yang going before we drop into the yin on my cue. We take that break, we find our 5 points, we find our posture again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we settle into that for just a moment. Great. I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to see me go into the chair and try to transfer the chair. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, separating. Doing it differently than you did last dance. Do I feel like I was here last time? Okay. Very least, I want you to find the balance in this and the comfort in the glutes. And then flow through. You got to check the knee. And you've got to check the alignment and just start becoming aware of what feels shaky, what doesn't feel right. Where do I think that's happening without judgment in my body? So we can have issues in our knees, but I never just look at the knee. I start to go, the body's affected. It's a 640 muscle connection. So if something's going wrong in the knee, perhaps it's the calves, the muscles, the relationship is different, or maybe that's the start of it. Flow through, see, do I have a single leg split squat? Do I have something close to a lunge? They're just names given to how you're moving your body, where you're putting weight, what you're using. Okay, add the weights. I'm gonna go for a tricep on this one. So why don't we lock the shoulders back and move through the elbow? So the shoulders aren't gonna move, the chest is open, you're squeezing, you should be feeling that lemon between your blades. And then the tricep maneuver, and then I'm gonna flow through. I'm gonna make it total body. With my balance, can you feel your glutes? Where does your weight need to be? In more of a lunge position, or is it better at a single leg split squat position? And you find the functional moves. There's one right there for me. Having to grab something from behind, locking the shoulders, using the close to a lunge. Find those functional moves. Wonderful. Slow it down and just fix it a little bit. What am I not noticing? What am I going back into reliance? Have I lost where the knee is going? Is my chest not open enough? Fix those patterns instead of just plowing through them. Okay, back to a cardio. I'm gonna go with the kickback on the knee because I'm gonna work the hands. The kickback on the knee doesn't work because some things we can't do about the joints, but you have to take really good care of them. Then it's fine to go back into like a little bit of a pulse with the glute. It's a great muscle to work on. 20 seconds. High knee works as well. Just want you to find the one where you feel your heart rate's getting up. And are there any balance challenges for you? Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Where's your stance? Can you find your center? Admit the yang. This is not just exercise. It's not just physical. This is also mental as well. And you feel the tornado, the world around you going very, very fast. And you feel like you want to get swept in it. Do you have points of consciousness, of awareness that it's happening and that you have choices? right? Total alert, body, soul, and mind. All right, we're going into the chair because I want to mimic some of these sets and using flexion. It looks like the weight's too far away. So if we're in a split position, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And this time we're in the chair, adding that flexion. And then we're going to add the weights, so we're going to do the bicep curl. Okay. Just working it a little bit. There we go. And just notice anything new, right? I feel like a lot is going to the lumbar, to the core, right? Or to the center of the back. So you're working the biceps. Notice any tightness on the knee. You can always back up and turn it more into a lunge. Excellent. And then I want you to come out of the chair. I want you to come. So if you can come out of the chair this style. If you can come and lift yourself up. Woo. And back down just for a moment. No, it's asking for a lot, right? So there's that point between where we're good, where we're bending and we're working that part of the muscle and working with the joints. And then we go really low in the chair, right? You feel some strength there. It's that in between that can be hard, coming up and out. So even just like a little bit starts to sort of match and put that strength together. Other side, okay. Lengthening process. Flexion. Split position. Can you still feel the glute? Adding the bicep curl. Relaxing that knee if you need to. Getting more of a lunge position. You'd think something like this would be easy, right? There's a lot of concentration going into the core, going into the center. And then if there's any ability to come out of the chair. Even just one time there, making sure that there's no pain. Don't want any pain there. Breathe in, breathe out. One more set, okay? One more set. So let's take the chair over to the side. We've done this lunge or a side lunge. We've done Romanian deadlift, asymmetrical, symmetrical. We just did the staggered stance, asymmetrical. So it's time to go back to a symmetrical move. So we'll make it a squat or near to a squat. And remember, I'll put you in the chair, or you can start in the chair if you want to do that from the chair. And we'll add the upper body in there. So taking your time. Getting the motions of the lower body, adding the upper. We're going to go for the weights. So we're going to make it total body. If you don't want to make it total body, just come up and pull the weights out at the side. And don't add the lower if you're going for total body. I want to go with the wide stance. I want to do that glute squeeze. I don't want to miss those cues on that first set. Okay, I'm going to go to the chair on it. So you get to go low into that squat. I don't try and have the weights go anywhere. I don't force them somewhere on the ground. I just work with the weight. And so if I was trying to push them in front, it's going to cause, as you know from bringing that up in front, there's a lot more pressure on the lower back. So just let them come out and lift. So you can just work with the natural weight of things. Not trying to fight gravity. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to do, can you come out of the chair and do it? So here we are again. You're super low. You're like your lowest range. You would not like, most likely not go this low when you're on land, right? You're really, really low. But we're going to get into that area where muscle growth can happen. Coming up. It feels so good that you want to do it again? Maybe. Breathe in and out. Good. So this kind of illustrates a full range. Let me just take you through 3 of it. If it's hard, again, you're going to go on this low number. You're going to go on the low number of reps. But again, if it's like, I can't do 1 or 2, then it's probably not the right exercise for you. That's 2. That was the hard part, getting into that area of that muscle where we might feel a little bit of weak. Last one. And push out. Excellent. I think it's a nice, it's a reasonable agreement. Breathe in and out. So now we go into a cardio, right? So let's do a mishmash. Mishmashes are always good, where you're crossing over and you're stepping forward and you're stepping to the side and you're orientating yourself around. You're doing quick movements and getting the cardio, the heart rate up for 20. Let's go. Maybe some high knees in there. Maybe some kickbacks. An off pattern, but a fast speed. We will find posture. We will find calm in the storm on my cue. Deal with the cardio, the yang with a conscious mind. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We can find that home, that calm in the yang. Breathe in. Breathe out. Excellent. You're in the cool down now. So go into the chair. Breathe in, breathe out. So let's start with a lumbar back stretch. So wide, but not too wide. So you want to feel supported when you come forward. Spread your whole feet out if you feel your toes are gripping. Good. If you want to add some shoulders, so just before the lumbar, if you want to add a little bit of that retraction, squeezing, and going into the protraction, blades coming apart, as you kind of work the lumbar, as you hip hinge. I mean, what good knowledge is this for like when you're like, I really need to push something correctly and just take good care of my back when I'm pushing that object. Feel the source of power in your core, that contraction, the tightening. Excellent. Come up. Shin box is always an option. I just like it because it just opens my hips up just a little bit more. It does not take much. And then you also have some rotation. If you are enjoying that rotation, it's good for your spine and it's great for digestive health. Twisting, moving the organs around a bit. Opposite side. And then we're going to slide the legs forward. And just get into that L sit for a moment. And from that L sit, let's end it with the protraction. Things get a little bit more precarious for our center and the body parts start to leave. And we're not using the lower, we're using the core. This is a lot of core. As we take the shoulders, we feel the retraction, the squeeze. We push out without rounding the spine into protraction. How about some neck turns? What can you release? What can let go? How about chin coming down and head coming up? We continue to protract, retract, legs extended out using the core, and I'm going to go to salamander stretch now. Excellent. Hands together. Wonderful job today. Thanks for taking a part. I will see you soon.